Thanks for the memory of Math Man on the scene, biking down the team, and chuckles when the pie in the face was something to be seen. How lovely it was. Thanks for the memory of Kermit's sing-alongs, keeping me from wrong, and cool graphics, and just for kicks you sang to me a song. So thank you so much. Thanks for the memory of Mingo being there. Of course, there was the hair in the Olympic Games, to which nothing can compare. How lovely it was. Thanks for the memory of playing basketball, Catwoman on the pro, and baby math and seeing class. The lone teacher began it all. So thank you so much. Thanks, guys. Happy Tuesday, everybody. And we hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend and enjoyed the warm weather. And so we're on the last week of school. We are going to have an assignment each day, and you'll notice that everything is due this Thursday at 11:59. And so I'm going to try to get caught up, but I'm also going to be at school today, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10 to 1 to help with the distribution of things and to collect some things that you might have of mine. And so remember, if your last name is A to H, it's today, Tuesday, I to P is Wednesday, and Q to Z is Thursday. And so if you need your textbook because you're doing old assignments, you just need to get those done. And so everything from me you will have, so you won't need your textbook for anything that you're getting this week. But you want to make sure that you get all your assignments done, get all the old ones done, get them all updated, and make sure it's all done by Thursday night. And so we'll be working on that. You can email me, but I don't have Power School updated right now after the weekend, but we will get everything caught up. And so make sure you get everything due, and also make sure that you take attendance. And so we need that attendance taken. So remember, this week when you come to school, not only are you picking up the contents of your locker, if you have a textbook, you are dropping that off. If you're in geometry and you have a mirror or you have compasses, you're also dropping those off and making sure I get those, okay? So make sure you bring those with you, and we'll try to be there and wave through the window and pick up your stuff, okay? And so make sure you get the attendance taken, and we'll be ready to go. We're going to continue on talking about sine, cosine, and tangent. And so Friday we talked about what the words meant: sine over h, cosine a over h, tangent over a. Today we're going to use that to find the side of a triangle. And then Thursday we're going to use it to find the angle, and we're done. And so we need to complete all these thoughts so we know how to find the sides, and then we know how to find the angles. So we want you to keep working to the end. And so your homework tonight is going to be on the back of notes. And so we're going to show you that, and where we have it here. And so the problems are on the back of notes. The answers to the odd ones are actually included, but they're not right because they're rounded wrong. We'll talk about that. But you're doing all of 6 through 21. And the last 4, you're going to have to draw pictures. And so we're going to apply this to finding why would we ever want to learn sine, cosine, and tangent in the first place. Okay? And so this is notes 130. And the thing is, one thing about your calculators is for the first time, it's going to matter what mode your calculator is. And it needs to be in degree mode. Now, most of you, unless you're using a graphing calculator, those come pre-programmed in that. But look right up here, and there's a button. Whoops, not the delete button, but the DRG button. And if you hit it, It says degree, radian, or graduates. You want it on degree. That's what it's on already. But if it isn't, you'll get all the wrong answers. So it needs to be in degree. If it was in the other modes, you would have down in the corner like an R or a rad, and you don't want that. And so normally what's in degree, all's good. And you'll know you're in the right mode if you get the same answers as I do today. Okay? So the thing is, when you get to high school, there's a whole class called trigonometry, pre-calculus. But we hint at these things way before that time. And your NWA score is going to go up in the fall if you know this. And so the last 4 pictures you'll have to draw. But the rest, the triangle's given to you. It says from the top of a 185-foot radio tower. So here we go. A construction worker. So you're standing up here on top of the tower. And so SOHCAHTOA, remember him? Yes, he has staff. And normally he wears a cape. But you know, it's way too, whoa, put your cape on. Get dressed. And so he has his cape on. Hello, everyone getting their SOHCAHTOA doing? We don't need that version. Why is that popping up? Okay. So SOHCAHTOA is ready. But it's so hot, he's ready to help teach. And so we're up here at a 185-foot tower. Right here. This is 185 feet. And then it says he is at a 60-degree angle. Well, that means that this is 60 degrees right here. This is a 60. Doesn't look like a 60, but it is. And you will notice that you have a right triangle. And we want to know this side. Well, the triangle's kind of turned around upside down. But just like we talked about yesterday, you always want to start your homework and you want to spell his name. So how would we spell his name, Jordan? Yes, S. Should we write it the way SOHCAHTOA would? SOHCAHTOA. The mnemonic device to help us remember this. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. And so we're up here. This is where the construction worker's at. And the angle's here. Well, the hypotenuse is over here. So we don't have the hypotenuse. So we don't have sine or cosine. We have, if we're up here, this leg is the what leg, Judah? Is that the opposite leg or the adjacent leg? Turn your head sideways. That leg is the opposite leg. See, this would be the opposite leg, the O. This leg right here is adjacent. So the 185, this is my A. So what word is OA? Sine, cosine, or tangent? Yeah, tangent. SOHCAHTOA. And so we have tangent. And this is what we would do. You're going to write down tangent. You always write the angle after the word. Tangent of a 60, which is a decimal we're going to get from our calculator, equals O over A. And so we want to know what divided by 185 equals the same decimal as the tangent of 60. So if they divide, yes, multiply. Good job, Erica. So we're going to multiply both sides by 185. Now the question is, how do we type this in my calculator? The back of this, well, the page that had your homework problems on was in a different book. And it was so old that you used to have to look up these numbers in a textbook. But you can just type in, see the word tangent right here? You type in 185 times tangent 60. It should look just like this. Can you see it? 185 times the tangent of 60. You can close parentheses if you want. Make it all pretty. And then you hit equals. And that answer should be 320 point. You got to round it. On your homework tonight, just round it to the 10th. And so it'd be 320.4 feet. And we use trigonometry to find the length of a side of a triangle. 320.4 feet right there. Great job. Now let's do the next one. The hard part is knowing what word to use. And so here we go. If we are here at this angle, the angle they give you is the one we're at. So we're right here at this angle. So where would the right angle be? Abby, yeah, it'd be right there. So which side is my H, the hypotenuse? Yeah, this would be the H. So my legs are this side and this side because they make up the right angle. And this leg is the adjacent leg because it's close to this angle right here. So what word is A and H? What word is that? What would it be? Hannah? Yeah, cosine. So, ka-toa. And so we're going to write cosine. We always write the angle after the word. Cosine 72, and then we write A over H. Well, in this case, it's going to be x over 112. Some of you are going to ask, is the letter always going to be on top? Yes, it will be tonight, because it's e-learning and we're keeping it easy. And if then they divide, we multiply. And so my answer, and I want to see this work on your paper, Colin. And so I want to see that you wrote 112 times cosine 72. Well, the cosine of 72 is a decimal. And so we're really multiplying 112 by this decimal. But you can just type the whole thing in, 112 times cosine 72. And it should look just like that, 112 times cosine 72. And so we're getting around 34.6. So the length of that side would be 34.6 feet. We didn't use the sine, cosine, tangent buttons on Friday. We just learned what the words are. But we will be using those buttons today and Friday. And so you need a calculator. Make sure it's in degree mode. Okay. Now, two more right here. And so if we look at this one, I remember when I was in high school, we took a field trip to the Indiana Dunes, and we had to do a quadrant study, and we had to measure everything in like this little quadrant and find the wildlife and measure the trees and see all the different ecosystems interacting with each other. And I remember there was this exchange student, and he could do trig values in his head. It's like, no one ever taught me to do that. But we would look, and we'd create this little thing, and you'd measure the angle up to the top of the tree by having this ruler and a protractor, and there'd be a little string hanging down, and you could measure our little angle measure thing. And we said that this was 65 degrees. Now, I know you'd have to take the height of the person out, but we're keeping it simple today. And you're standing 50 feet away from the tree. Well, then how tall is the tree? Well, is this a sine, cosine, or tangent? Now, I know you'd have to add the trunk to your answer because the triangle starts right here. But if I'm here at 65 and I have the height of the tree and I have this distance, what word is that? Ryan? Yeah, it'd be tangent because the hypotenuse is over here and we don't have any of those measurements. So we do not have the hypotenuse. So it's going to be tangent of a 65 equals x over 50. And if they divide, we multiply. And I remember when we were in high school on that field trip, somebody had the calculator, but then the exchange student, who, yes, was from China, he could just go tangent 65, and he could tell me the decimal. And it's like, whoa, now I know a tangent of a 45 is 1 because the legs are equal. And then the tangent of 65 would be greater than 1 because that height would be taller. But for me to tell you that the tangent of a 65 off the top of my head is 2.1, 2.14, that's smart guy. And so 107.2 feet. Now, I know that's not the height of the tree because you got to add the height of the person to it. But, you know, we're keeping it simple today. And the one you are going to miss on your homework are the ones that are underwater because you're going to find the wrong triangle. And so the wrong triangle is going to be you are not going to label it in the right spot. So like here's a Navy cruiser and the water, just like the water's here, my triangle comes from here. The triangle is going to be upside down. One leg of the triangle always sits on the horizon. So if my triangle is upside down because I'm underwater, it goes like this. If if I had green grass, my triangle, well, that's not green. If my triangle was, here's my horizon, I'm going above, see how that's a leg, and the triangle goes up from there. So it either goes up from there or down from there. And you'll have, if you draw it any other way, you're going to mess it up, but we'll help you. And so we have this, and this Navy cruiser pings or sends out detector and goes, is the depth. And so the depth's over here. Most people would go, well, the depth's over here. Well, the triangle goes from here. And so these lines would be the same. That's why we're in geometry next year. And so this is my depth. So if I'm here, an A and an H, or an O and an A. Cody? Yes, it'd be an O and an H. And that's going to be the hardest thing, because then you're going to have to say, do I use sine, cosine, or tangent? So I have an O and an H. So that's going to be sine. So I'm going to do sine of 34. And I want to be able to tell what word you're using. I want to see this on your paper. Equals x over 4,000. If they divide, we multiply. Multiply both sides by 4,000. Now, the sine of 34 is a number. But you can just type the whole line in. 4,000 times sine 34. Does your calculator look like that? 223.67716. Just round it to the 10th. 223.7. Because sine of 30 is a half. So sine of 34 gets us close to. No. So the sine of 34 is not a half, what'd I say? Whoa. Yeah, it's 0.559. And so, and 4,000 times sine of 34. You know what? Yeah, because it's about a half. I typed that in. I only had 400. It's like, what's going on? It's 4,000. See? Knowing some of these in your head. See, I learned that day in high school. Try to do some of them in your head. Sine of 30 is half. So it's 2,223 points. 2,236.8 feet. Make sure you type in the right amount of decimals. And that is the depth of the sub. Okay? So on your homework tonight, the only pictures you have to draw are the last 4. So on your own paper, you're going to write problem 6. And Sokotoa says, what word do we use? Sine, cosine, or tangent? And so if I'm right here, here's my angle. Is this an O and an A? That'd be tangent. An O and an H would be sine. An A and H would be cosine. O and A would be tangent. What word is this, Rosie? Yeah, it'd be tangent. So on your paper, you're going to write tangent 50. Always write the angle after the word. Equals n over 12. And then if they divide, we multiply. And you're going to multiply both sides by 12. And then just type that in. 12 times the tangent of 50. And then you got problem 7. You're right here. This is an O. The H is here, and the H is blank. So we know we don't have sine or cosine. We have tangent. But look how nice I am to you. I found a book that says use tangent on the first 3. Use sine on the next 3. Ignore these page numbers. You don't have that book. So the first 9 problems, it tells you what word to use. But then finally, when you get to the last 7, you have to decide the word. So if I'm here, Aiden, this is O, A, or H. It'd be an O. This side right here, Logan, is a H. What word has OH? Sokoto is listening. Sine. Very good. Sine. O over H. So you're going to use sine on 15. You decide what you're using on 16 and 17. And then for the last 4, you don't have to be super artist, but like for problem 20, I'll help draw these last couple. For the last 4, you need to draw a triangle. So a kite flyers letting out 240 feet of string. So it doesn't have to be a perfect picture. But here, go fly a kite. And this person's flying a kite. See, notice the string is going to be the hypotenuse. And here's their kite. Woohoo! And so this is 240 feet of string. And there's no sag in the string. And this is a 58-degree angle with the ground. And so I at least need to see this triangle. You don't even have to have all the extra. And we want to know the height. Well, is this, if I'm here, highlighter, come on, computer. If I'm here, this is an OA or H. This is an OA or H. Here's my right angle. And then you figure out what word you're using. And then 21 is the one that's upside down. You have a ocean surface. So you got your ocean. And then there's a boat. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Doo-doo-doo. And there's a cable. Now, some of you would just draw the cable straight down. Well, see, the cable goes on an angle. And there's 500 feet of cable. And this is 37 degrees. And the depth is over here. So there's, and then there's your sunken treasure that you want to find. Okay? So that triangle's upside down. Then it's, if I'm here, do I have O and H, A or H and O and A? Sine, cosine, or tangent. These decimals are here to help you only for the odds like it was in your math book since you're turning it in. And so we wanted to still give you odds. But these decimals aren't going to be exactly right because these were using a table of values and not your calculator. Your calculator is more accurate, so use this. Okay, most of the time they're close though. Okay, so we might see you at school today. If you email me from 10 to 1, I'll be at school, so I won't be answering your email. But after that, we'll be back. We'll get anything done. Send me old stuff. I'll try to get Power School updated, but also, I also had a weekend, so I didn't get all the grades in. But we're going to be working on that crazy this week, getting everything done. And then we'll be on to geometry next year. And so, make sure you get everything done. Don't be quitting early. You need to work to the end. Okay? And so we want to get all that stuff done. This is important learning. Okay? We miss all you guys. Have a great day. Maybe we'll see you at school this week. Okay? Bye-bye.